In this video, we're going to talk about what a company should have when you're going to work with them as a closer, as an appointment setter, just a company that you are going to work with as a sales rep. What are some of the things that they should have in place so that you can be a little bit more confident that this is a good partnership, a good deal? First thing I'll say is commission only is typical. Commission only is typical, especially for closing roles. And especially if it's commission only, these are three things that I'm going to go over that they almost must have for you to be successful in that role, for it to be a good opportunity for you. With the first one being, they need to have all of the software that you require. Software that you're going to require is firstly a CRM. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager. That's where you're going to be tracking all of your leads and your pipeline and where each lead is at in your pipeline. The leads that you've already spoken to, you've made offers to, that you're following up with, the leads that have said no, that you're not going to contact anymore, the leads that have said yes, that you've closed or done payment plans with, the leads that you haven't spoken to yet, whatever it is, every single person in your ecosystem as a closer, as a setter, should be stored, tracked, tagged, marked in a CRM. And if a company is not providing that for you, it's probably not a company you want to work with. If they're making you pay for that, again, probably not a company that you want to work with. Another piece of software, which sometimes comes built in with the CRM, is a dialer. You don't want to be using your own cell phone for communication, not only for compliance and legal for the company, but just, again, everyone has different phone plans and all these things. These are just not, you shouldn't be mixing your personal phone number with your work as a closer or as a setter. You shouldn't be doing outbound dials from your phone. You're going to have less pickups. It's not compliant. The tracking's not there. It's just not safe for the business as a whole. Any good company will know this, and they will provide a proper dialer for you, whether you're a closer or a setter. Text messages, calls, for the most part, should be done within their dialing, texting, calling, SMS, whatever system that they've provided for you. That also goes with a calendar. They should be providing you with a company email, a company calendar. Usually it's just a Gmail, Google Calendar, that kind of thing set up. So when you're booking calls, they're providing you with a either Google Meets or a Zoom account where you're taking calls, if you're a closer, especially on Zoom, on camera. All of these things need to be provided by the company, and you should not have to pay for any of them. If you are, again, probably want to look twice at that offer and see what's going on there. Second thing you want the company to provide is some sort, in especially commission only. If it's not commission only, if they're providing a good base, if they're providing a salary of some sort, it's okay. But if it's a commission only role, they should be providing some sort of lead flow. Now, that lead flow doesn't always have to be paid ads, but it needs to be a targeted list if it's not inbound. And what I mean by not inbound, I mean if they're scraping leads from, like, if they're having you scrape leads from like a software or something like that, they either need to provide the software that you're using to generate the lists, or they need to generate the lists for you so that you can spend the bulk of your time doing the outbound, doing the outreach. You know, Apollo IO, Instantly, whatever they're using to generate those leads, they should be scraping them, compiling them, filtering them, and then presenting them to you to then go out and dial. Again, if they're having you do that, they should either be compensating you hourly, salary, base, whatever, or they should be at, like, you know, definitely paying for the software that's collecting those leads, because they're going to be their leads at the end of the day. You know, other than that, if it's cold outreach. If not, you want to see them providing leads through advertising, Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, whatever, TikTok ads, or if they have some kind of audience organic content that's, you know, bringing in leads on a consistent basis because they're putting out YouTube videos or Instagram reels or whatever. Lastly, you want to see some kind of marketing that allows you to nurture these leads. So it's not, especially in 2026, it's just not enough to only generate leads directly without any kind of trust building with between that company and their leads. Some companies have great advertising, great marketing, and they utilize that to build a ton of trust through long webinars and VSLs and email lists and that kind of thing. But typically what you want to see from the outside is some kind of nurturing going on, either written or video. Like I said, it could be email sequences, but primarily blogs or video content, YouTube, whatever, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You want to see some way that that company is nurturing and building trust. And trust me, I've seen it over and over and over again where companies are generating leads and they're doing all these things, and closers are having to do a ton of work to not only sell the thing, but make the leads that they get trust the company as a whole, just because that company doesn't have anything within the process that actually nurtures and builds that trust. And if it's going to make it a lot harder, your close rate will be lower, and it'll be a lot harder to hit your goals as a sales rep. So in the perfect world, ideally, what you'd want to see is a company that has some kind of content. It doesn't have to be all front facing. It can even just be free courses on the back end, email sequences, like a daily email sequence that builds massive trust and shows case studies, testimonials, and gives free advice and content and all these things. Whatever it is, the company just has to have something to where when you have these conversations with leads, they've either built familiarity already, or after your initial conversation, after making the offer, you can, if the answer is not a yes, you can put them in some kind of nurture sequence. You can send them some kind of content to build that trust and to make that sale at a later date. I can't tell you how many times I had leads that I spoke to and then utilized that company, that influencer's YouTube videos, to then use it as a follow-up tool in my CRM as I was texting and reaching out and staying in touch with my leads, and built trust over time and made a ton of closes on the follow-up because I was selling for a creator that kept making content, and I was able to use that content as a powerful follow-up tool that built trust over time. So if you don't see any of that with a company, again, that's another thing that's going to make it a little bit harder for you to sell and reach some of the heights that you might want to reach, whether it's 10K, 20K, 30K plus per month. So to recap, you want to see that they have their systems in place in terms of all of the software that's required, pipeline management, dialing to be in communication, scheduler for the calendar, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever, some kind of video conferencing software, and email to keep in touch and kind of tie everything together. You want to see that they have some way of producing leads that you can reach out to, or they're at least compensating you accordingly if you're going to be doing the sourcing and prospecting of those leads totally, which means inbound leads through ads, inbound leads through content, or not inbound, but leads that are being generated through some sort of scraper or tool that they are covering or paying for, or paying you a significant base for you to go out and do the prospecting. Lastly, marketing, some way to nurture, no matter what, the company should have some way that they're building trust in the market, building SEO traffic through blogs, building content and organic traffic in the algorithm through YouTube and different video content, email sequences that build trust on the back end, free courses or communities, Facebook groups, school groups, whatever it is, to nurture people over time. You need something to build that trust. And as a bonus, some kind of public facing testimonial page, Google reviews, Trustpilot, whatever, would also be super, super helpful. If you can find companies that do that, that will be huge. We actually help you find companies like that. That's what RepSelect.io is all about. We search for companies, vet companies that come and post on our platform. A lot of them have these things in place. We have them fill out questionnaires asking them whether they have these things in place before we list them for you. So if you are interested in having us do a lot of that legwork for you, links are down in the description to jump on RepSelect, or you could just go to repselect.io, create an account, and start applying for roles if you're a sales rep looking for offers. Other than that, I'll leave it there for this video. See you guys in the next video.